Okay. Hi, this is Kafunda Banks with Conscious Teachers, and it is my privilege to be here with Karen Paolino Correria. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Author and speaker, founder of Heaven on Earth. Karen has for 2 decades been helping people around the world through her books and her workshops, her angel certification programs and private sessions. And it has been my honor to welcome her to the program. We have been talking, I think, for almost 20 minutes before we even started. I wish some of that was on tape, but I definitely want to get to talk about this program that you have just created, or this project that you have just created called the 111 Project. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes. So, this project was definitely through divine inspiration. There were a couple pieces of the puzzle that I saw happening beforehand, but one of them Tosha Silver, which I love her work. Her book is Outrageous Openness. She had this, I think it was an 8-week course called It's Not Your Money. And, for me, I took the course not because I lack in financial abundance, but I have an attachment to money because I went through a divorce years ago and had nothing when I came out of the divorce, and was in fear about creating money and being able to do the work that I loved. And, I've always proven to myself that I've been able to do it. But I realized that coming out of that fearful situation, I had an attachment to money. I had a hard time letting it go.
Right.
Recirculating it. And when my girlfriend and I, we always get together, we have for the past 12 years at New Year's time, and we sit down because we both have our own businesses, and we sit down and talk about it. And I said, for so many years, I said, I wish I had a charity or something I felt really drawn to, that I felt connected to contribute to. And every year I would say, I want to do more, right?
Right.
But, now that I look back, I really had a fear and attachment of letting go of money. And, I'm honest to say that now, because I didn't realize how strong it was.
Right.
And you're aware of it because your talk and your energy when you're working with money. But what happened was, my husband and I had attended a very spiritual weekend, and we had met an artist there. He had done a presentation of his artwork. And he also talked about how he was connected to a tribe in South America that was very much took him on a spiritual journey himself, and that he was supporting this tribe through a foundation because he felt so drawn to help these people, and the world had forgotten about these people. And so at the end of the retreat, he said, I'm not very good at asking, but I need to raise a certain amount of money. Would anybody be open? And I went to him after, and I said, I'd like to contribute $100 from my business and to support you, because I really believe in your work.
Right.
And so I came home, and I was really in an awesome, pure space after this weekend. And that morning, I received an email with a link to send my donation. Originally, I was going to send a check, and I said, you know what? I'll pay through PayPal, and I'll send $111 to cover any charges. And I like the number 111.
Right.
Energetic, spiritual number. Any number in threes is an energetic spiritual number. So it felt really good. Like I really connected to the feeling of giving and supporting. That felt great. So, I went out for my walk, and as I was walking, Spirit said to me, because my channel was very open. Spirit said to me, what about doing it for 52 weeks? I'm like, I took out my calculator. I'm like, what's 52 times 111? And it turned out to be like 5,007. I don't know. I could tell you the number if I pulled out my calculator. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it, and I said, wait a minute, I already have this in my business account. I already have this. So am I really losing anything? Because I have it. And I went back to Tosha Silver's message that it's not your money. What I tell people now, you don't come in as a baby with all this money taped to your body.
Right.
And you don't leave spirit in your last breath. You don't take money back home with you.
Right.
And it's not really not your money. It's energy. It's spirit.
Right.
Right. And so that's very hard concept for me to understand, but I'm sure it's hard for other people to understand. But when I simplify it to that, like, wait a minute, I didn't come with like dollar bills all over me out of the womb, and I'm not going to go home taped, just
right.
not
Right.
how it works. It really isn't my money. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. It feels right. Like, how you get a knowing.
Yes.
And it was a knowing. I'm like,
yes.
This feels right. And then I take about 10 more steps, and I heard, what about inviting your community as well?
Wow.
Because I have, after being 20 years in this business, I have a beautiful, wonderful community.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? There's no attachment. They're not funneling the money through me.
Right.
It's wherever they feel spirit is
Directing
calling them to share in their donation, right?
Right.
And that's what I got. Like, there's so many places that need help and support, so many people, so many situations.
Especially now, yes.
Yes. Let them choose
right.
where they wanted to go to. And so I came home. This was the coolest thing. In 2 days, look at this. Look at this beautiful logo I created.
That's lovely.
Like,
a big leap into greater love. Wow.
And I looked up the
beautiful
of 1 and 111.
Uh-huh.
And I realized I took out one of my numerology books. One was about new beginnings. 111 was about new beginnings and a big leap into greater love. And I thought, that's what this feels like. How do we move from fear and separation to oneness and love and unity? I mean, this is what I keep getting in my connection with spirit. Like, you need to move into all that love is and release your fears, and also, always see out in the world, not all, that's an exaggeration. What we see a lot of in the world is separation versus unity, right?
Right.
So what I did was I figured out different numbers that correlate to 1. For example, 1 is obviously numerology 1. 10, if you add 1 and 0 up, it's 1. And even 11s, because they're 2 1s.
Right.
56 is,
11.
I figured out all the, numerology.
Different denominations, yes.
And I ended up sending a Facebook message and then an email out to my community. And I said, this project has been inspired through me, but I want you to join me if you choose. You can donate anywhere from $1 to, $111 to $1,111, or whatever you feel connected to.
Right.
But every week on Miracle Mondays, and that's what I ended up calling it, Miracle Mondays, you call out to spirit. And I wrote a prayer, and the prayer is, Spirit, use me. Because the other prayer I was saying every day was, God, use me for a purpose greater than I know myself, today and every day. God, use me for a purpose greater than I know myself, today and every day. And so that was part of the prayer. Spirit, where do you want your money to go?
Right.
Who do you want me to offer it to?
Right.
And show me that there's more than enough, that I can be replenished and continue to circulate, that there's more than enough.
Right.
You know what? I kept hearing that too. There's more than enough. Like, I kept hearing the analogy. If there's all these blades of grass that die in winter and they're rebirthed, and then you have to cut it because there's so much. Why wouldn't there be that much energy in monetary or in offerings? Because what I've realized through the project, it doesn't just come back in money. It comes back in joy, abundance, love, gratitude, miracles. But also, I've gotten unexpected gifts, checks.
I'm sure.
I honestly, this has been going on since March. I think I'm over 20 weeks in donating.
Yeah.
And my bank account hasn't changed.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful? You know what? This is how your message impacted me. And I don't know if members of your community felt something similar. But I, for the longest time, because, and I imagine because I'm from a Christian background, but this notion was in my head about tithing, about giving something back from what I, have earned. And, not to say that I have a lot, but, I'm okay. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to give something back. So this recurring message about tithing, but I didn't know to who. I'm not necessarily connected to a church. So, and I don't really feel called to drop my money in a donation box at a church. And then I thought, what about a charity? But I didn't know which charity. And so it had been on my mind, I think, for maybe 3 weeks before I saw your 111 project. And then I was just like, oh my gosh, that's exactly my thought, my intuition just out in front of me when I saw that. And that it was so open that you could donate whatever you wanted to whatever charity, and here was a group of people thinking the exact same way that I was thinking, and we're
Right.
doing something rather than just, thinking it, but we're actually making it happen.
Right.
And that I thought was so synchronistic that, I would have this driving impulse, and then your project came up. And
And
there are, what's that?
Spirit would never, like, Spirit knows me enough.
Yeah.
My team knows me enough that if there was any attachment, like I had to ask for money or anything
Yeah.
like that, like, this is so filled with freedom.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you're guided. And this is what's happened. I mean, there's almost 400 people on the Facebook page right now. It's called the
Wow.
111 Project Facebook, and we'll put a link to it.
Yes.
You have to go there and get inspired, because what happens is there's so many organizations that feel passionate about their work that they're doing, helping other people, but they don't know how to raise funds. And this, in some weeks, Kafunda, I was guided to do to an organization. Some weeks is a personal donation to a friend, or
Right. Exactly.
somebody, like one of my friends, her sister, the husband lost a job. They have a child with challenges, and they didn't have any insurance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is where my 111
Yes.
project is going to go
Yes.
this week. And
Beautiful.
Spirit always guides me, but that every people that felt passionate about sharing their organization could post it on the Facebook page. And
Right.
that's what happened.
Right.
People have educated to me. Do you realize that this is profound? I think it's profound. My husband and I order from Amazon all the time, right?
Yeah.
And somebody posted that Amazon has a website, Amazon Smile. We can put a link for that too. Every purchase you make on Amazon, you can specify a donation. An organization that you want I think 1%, the prices aren't any higher than Amazon. 1%, you can pick your organization. So mine is Alzheimer's Foundation. And so every purchase, they're donating, and I'm not spending any more.
Right.
And Amazon is donating towards a foundation that I feel connected to.
That's amazing. AmazonSmiles.com.
How come people don't know about that?
I don't know, but they will now. Yeah,
Right?
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so I would have never known unless somebody posted about that.
Right.
And then right now, obviously, I think it's so interesting. Spirit kind of prepared the way for this project before everything that's been happening. So obviously with Irma, Maria, the earthquakes,
Jose, the hurricanes,
we have felt so compelled. You can see people are reaching into their pockets now.
Yes,
and
yes.
we shouldn't wait. That's what I love about the 111 Project. It's great for this time.
Yes.
We should be doing it.
Yes. But it's like when you talked about before we started recording, we were talking about transition, and that everything is in transition now. And we're looking at the political scene, the economic scene play out, and things are changing from what we knew them to be. They're, morphing in some way. And I really feel like, things like the 111 Project and the things that people are moved to do from their hearts, like we're really in this sort of almost like midwife energy, like we're having the ability to sort of morph the world, the planet that we want to see, like we're directing the current, which I feel like is probably the natural state, like the natural state of us who we were supposed to be anyway, like the stewards of this planet, being able to caretake it and each other, being able to help each other and to, cherish each other as fellow human beings or creators on the planet. So I really love the message about it not being our money. This is not our planet. We're the caretakers of this planet. We're the caretakers of each other. We direct the flow. We don't control the flow. It doesn't come from us, but we can certainly use it to create heaven on earth,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So true. Every word resonates truth in my heart, in my soul. And this is, I'm getting chills as I said. And, it's just beautiful. And I have to tell you that miracles that have happened. One is at the beginning, I'm writing my checks and I had to go to my husband and say I was doing this too. And I knew he was going to have resistance. And at first he's like $111 each week. And I was like, yeah, I know this is really, it might be uncomfortable for you, but I have to tell you, 4 weeks and he saw people's stories and their miracles and how they were contributing. He's like, Karen, this is bigger than I realized.
Yes.
And he says, I'm so proud of you that you took that step of courage. And I have to tell you now, Mondays, I get excited. Spirit, where are you going to guide me? I like easily write my checks now.
Right.
And I'm like, this is what it feels so good in my heart and my soul. I've seen so many people. Some people put envelopes of their $11 or their $56, and they put on a bathroom in a very low income area and say,
yes.
So they're having
beautiful
fun doing it.
Yes.
Being creative. In these past weeks, I've found every week some organization, the Patriots, Amazon, Facebook, that doubled my offering.
Wow.
There's so many. And so when I find that, I get to share that and say, if anybody wants to donate, they're going to double.
Right.
They're going to match your offering and send to, this week was Save the Children. The other week was the Red Cross. But, to me, this is a project of unity. We got to, it's time for us not to see ourselves as separate, see ourselves as brothers, sisters, family.
Yes.
And one needs to be lifted and another can lift them or hold their hand. Like
exactly.
That's what I love the logo. It's like we have to come together and hold hands and be we have to be angels to one another.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
This is the time in the exterior reflections are calling us back to this.
Yes. And when you talked about not worrying about, not having things, like you really feel like you haven't lost anything by being expansive or sharing your funds like you have. And you gave the example about Spirit talking to you and speaking about the blades of grass and how they're so abundant. And the Christ actually, he said something similar, about the lilies of the field. Like they don't worry about who's clothing them. They don't worry about, who's dressing them. And that sort of being like, that spirit of trusting in Spirit to replenish you, that, you're not really reliant on external things. Not that we shouldn't be wise and not go to work or whatever, but if we're participating in the flow of the universe, that flow is continuous. And as you're continuing to flow to others, it's flowing to you as well, and so, we all need to be able to be open to our blessings at the same time, letting ourselves be a blessing to other people,
Right. release our fear
and
our
release our
attachment.
fear around that. Yeah.
I have to say that's probably been the greatest gift, is to not be in that fear and attachment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to be in the joy and the flow. Flow
Yeah.
is a perfect word, but I know there's people that are listening to this and they can relate to that attachment and that holding on.
Of course, absolutely.
Especially if you've had some in your history of of loss or struggle.
Absolutely.
But I have to tell you, just experiment with this.
Yeah.
You don't have to commit to 52 weeks. You can commit to 4 weeks and see how it makes you feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to, it can be $11, but I have to tell you, when you gift even that $11 to somebody,
yes,
it's a blessing to them, but it's a blessing back to yourself.
Absolutely. And you talked about how you have received back in unexpected ways. And I have experienced the same thing. Like, and I think that's sometimes when people get caught up, like they give to something or they give to someone and they expect a certain kind of reaction and they don't get it. And that causes them to become discouraged or disheartened, or I'm not going to help anyone again because I tried to help this person and so didn't act appreciative, or, and when we release our attachment to our gift or to what it is that we decided to donate, when we release that attachment, we allow Spirit to give in other ways to us.
Yes.
Ways, like you said, are unexpected. And I think I was in my 20s and I experienced this sort of boomerang. I called it the boomerang effect. And it got to the point where I started to do it on purpose. Like I would give something and then see what Spirit would boomerang back to me. Yes. So I remember giving, someone admired a necklace I had, and and I loved this necklace, and it was different, it was unique. And this was part of my experiment with me. So I gave her the necklace, and then I was like, okay, Spirit, what's the boomerang? Don't you know, like 2 months later, I got a gift as a necklace back, which was equally as unique and different as the one that I had given. And it just made me laugh because, that's just how Spirit works, that, you can't really release anything without getting it back, sometimes tenfold of what you have given,
And we don't leave this earth plane stuffing our coffin or
exactly.
We don't take this with us. And
yes.
That's happened with me too. I'll never forget, I did the same thing. I was doing reading for someone and I was wearing this heart quartz necklace that my husband had given me, not maybe 2 weeks earlier, and I heard Spirit said, give her the necklace. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
Like Louis gonna be able to give her the necklace. And I was like, it just kept repeating. So I knew it was Spirit because and gave her the necklace, and she's like, no, I can't take that. And I said, yes, Spirit wants you to have this necklace.
Yeah. And
sure enough, like 2 years later, she gave it back to me in the mail, and she goes, I can't even tell you what this anchored into me.
Wow.
But so it reminded me of that. But we are human and we do get attached and we are fearful, but this is a time where we need to move into oneness, sharing, love, a big leap into greater love.
Absolutely.
And so, I just invite people to experiment. Really, it is about Spirit. Like, I think when I get, part of it is opening up your intuition to really listen to Spirit. Like my calling, usually I donate on Mondays this week and I didn't feel anything. I'm like, how come I'm not getting anything? And then Thursday came around and Facebook put right in my thing, we'll match donations for Save the Children.
Wow.
All right. So that's why and be patient. But that's the joy in this too, is working with Spirit, because you are the vehicle.
Exactly.
You're the messenger. You're the vehicle.
Exactly.
You're the vessel that Spirit's going to use, and that opens up your intuition, miracles, joy. It's beautiful.
That is the thing for me, what you just said about working with Spirit, because I really feel like you and I were talking before, you go on your meditative walks and, I do my meditative things, and we are in communication with Spirit however people want to talk about it, your spirit, your intuition, God spoke to you, Jesus spoke, however you want to talk about it. But we all have those nudgings, those inklings that come from within. And those are not for nothing. That is our way to work with spirit in helping ourselves, our fellow man, and our planet. And it's really high time that we start listening to that and working jointly with spirit, because I feel like we've had so much external influences, through television, through music, through movies, through, a lot of that info, that bombardment is not connected to a spiritual source. And so I think that whole thing about when I was telling you about getting quiet, needing to be internal, was about my need to rejoin my intuition and to listen to spirit and act.
Yeah.
It's not enough at this point to just listen and hear, but now it is really time to act, because like you said, we're in this transitional period, and really things are being formed and directed, and we can direct them in a way that's more aligned with our spirits and with what divinity wants from us if we're working in conjunction with that internal intuitive self.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important right now.
And just when you said that word ask, I got chills all over, because that's been the beauty of this project too.
Yeah.
Is because people that feel passionate or connected, or they want to help somebody that's in their community.
Yes.
They post that on the Facebook page. And it's so hard for people to ask for help.
Yes. Yes.
And that's been another miracle and gift in all this, that this is a resource where people can reach out and ask. And it's all up to anybody who is on the feed. They can feel called to it. They might not, but if they're contributing every week, this is a place where it doesn't have to be hard to find something that you feel called to. Absolutely.
And like you said too, it doesn't necessarily have to be to a charity or to, an organization. It could be to somebody that's, struggling, or, someone that you don't know, and then someone that you observe that might be having a difficult time, and you want to give something anonymously, or, however. I remember one time I was at the bus stop at Back Bay Station, and I had gone to this sort of like place that sells like bath products and like soaps and like smelling salts for the bath, all these little girly stuff. So I'd gotten a bunch. I was like, I'm gonna treat myself. And I went to the station, and sitting next to me was a woman and a small child. And the woman looked frustrated, like she had had a day or a couple of days. And this little child was sitting next to her, mommy, 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 mommy. And she just was like a stone wall. And I know people get there, like if this child says, mom, what thing, and I reached into my bag and I took out one of my smelling salts and one of my bath bombs and one of the oils that I brought. And I said, I just want to give this to you. I just want you to have a good day or good evening, or, relax. And the look that came over that woman's face, it looked like I had given her $1 million, and, I just,
from your heart.
Exactly. And I walked away and I said, maybe she'll take a relaxing bath, and, the child will give her an hour or something so she can just relax and she can deal with her baby, and, they'll be okay for the evening. We've all been there. We just need, give me an hour, 2 hours, And so you're moved to give in that way. And, I'm just, saying that if we have that impulse to give, don't hold that back, just go with the flow, go with the spirit, give. You never know how it impacts somebody.
How good it feels. It's
and it felt good to do that.
It feeds your soul.
Yes, exactly.
It's really lights you up. It's joy. I remember same thing. One day I was at Starbucks and I drove up and the girl's like, well, she just paid for you. I'm like, and this is when I was in the 111 project. I'm like, oh my God. But I was so like touched.
Yeah.
But then, you know, a couple months later, I did the same thing for somebody else behind me. And I was like, oh, that felt as good as getting it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
it is. We just have to come together right now.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
the time. This
Yeah,
is Spirit
I
is
agree.
working through us. This is just one
Wholeheartedly.
project
This is it.
that
This is the
is
time.
making a difference to make it happen.
Yes, the 111 project is a wonderful project that is definitely touching a lot of people and helping them get in touch with that spirit of giving and that spirit of being, good stewards, taking care of our environment and each other, and also being able to listen to that intuition, and also experience the joy and the spiritual blessings of gratitude.
Yeah.
If you have something to give, that is something to be deeply grateful for. Grateful that you have something to share with somebody else. And we all have something. We all have something. You may not have, monetary currency, but you might have time.
Right.
Or you might have the talent, that your neighbor could use, so that spirit of dedicating our talents to each other, is
and one of the girls, I just wanted to mention this, that one of the girls that have been doing the project, she one day said, I'm going to ask my employer if he'll match my donations.
Wow.
And sure enough, the employer did. And,
excellent.
That's something, again, I feel she got the nudge from Spirit, but we have to have courage to ask.
Absolutely.
We have to have courage. We don't know sometimes. And, I have to tell you, one of my donations was for a family that lost their son, and Spirit kept telling me, donate. I'm like, really? And I really had a tough time. I didn't know the family that well.
Yeah.
But Spirit kept guiding me, and I really had to have courage to make that donation.
Right.
And sometimes, who knows what was the block or the fear of me doing it, but I had to, these are little stickers, and I put it on the envelope, and I said, I know that you need to know that you're not alone right now, and everything's okay, but I mean, not everything's okay, but somehow I don't know how it's okay after losing a child, but that Spirit's there with you. Do you know what I mean?
Right. You're not alone. Yeah.
I had to have the courage to do it. It was not easy.
Right.
So there's been so many different growth experiences and expansion experiences. And I don't even know all the people like Kafunda. I didn't even know you were on my email list, but all the people on my email list, I have no idea how many are doing them. If they're on the Facebook page, of course I know the numbers that are on there. Action.
Right.
So what's joyful to me is I don't even know how many other people are doing this.
Yes, or how it's touching people. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's Spirit's job. It's not
mine.
We've got to continue to do things like this. And, on Mondays, Miracle Mondays, I usually do a live event at 111 and just some kind of inspiration or story and connect it to the 111 project, and just keep helping people be aware that they have a choice to choose to do it or not choose to do it, but the choice is there.
The choice is theirs, exactly. The choice is theirs. And, that big word that you mentioned about courage, I think that's a word that's going to, touch us all, that we do need to have courage in that, I find sometimes that fear is about, I don't even know if it's really fear. Like it's, how like when you take something, like say a piece of rubber, and you're trying to stretch it and you get that resistance.
Yeah.
It's almost like, am I feeling fear, or am I feeling the tension of wanting to expand, but I'm resisting,
Both sometimes.
Both, right? We maybe we label that tension as fear, but but having that courage that you're not going to stretch out of shape, you're not going to fall apart if you're
not going to break.
You're not going to break if you let go of that resistance. This is just your spirit trying to push itself beyond the container that you've allowed it to be in. Remember Robin Williams when he was the genie in Aladdin? What did he say about big, huge, dynamic power in an itty bitty living space? like we have these huge spirit, energy in this body, this itty bitty living space, like, and so you wanting to expand beyond that boundary, allowing yourself to emanate outward, and to be able to do things like that, and other things as well, we don't know until we give spirit the wheel, and
and just you
let it drive us.
asking me to do this expands it again. So I want to invite everyone to check out the 111 Facebook page. We'll put the link, because that you're going to be just inspired by scrolling through and reading people's sharing and their donations and their experiences, so I really invite, even if you're just contemplating, join the page and be inspired by the love and this big leap into greater love that we're all trying to create together.
Yeah. So we're gonna put the links in there so everybody can see. But we also want to mention that they can learn about the 111 project at createheaven.com. Is that correct?
There's a page on there as well. Yes.
Yep. And there's the 111 project on Facebook. There's a group that people can join.
And I also have a 4-minute video. I'll put it. I'll send it to you if you can link it to there.
Sure.
Too.
Yep. Absolutely. So, Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you. Really,
this was wonderful.
Joy. It's so great to co-create too, because you have such wisdom and support for people as well. And so
thank you.
When 2 or more gather in the name of Spirit.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, that just gave me chills. Thank you. This was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.